and welcome to Tarot Talk. Today, I'm delighted to have with us Matthew Breer. He's created 2 tarot decks, and he's working on his 3rd independently published tarot deck. We're very excited to have you here. So, Matthew, tell us a little bit about your tarot journey.
Well, it basically started when I was like about 4 years old, when I stumbled onto my mother's deck and just thought they were the coolest thing ever. Probably the coolest thing I've ever seen at the time, being about 4 years old. So that's where it started.
Wonderful. So you've been interested in this for a long time.
Yeah.
So what prompted you to design your first deck?
Well, I was actually kind of thinking about it for a while and had made a deck, but back in about 2003, 2004. But at that time, printing it yourself really wasn't an option. So I'd made a deck back then and was trying to sell it on eBay, but it just wasn't it was really time consuming. So it just really didn't go from there. But recently, I had been in a bout of artist block for about 4 years, and I'd come down with COVID. And after I came out of COVID, the block was gone, and I started creating again. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise to get COVID. So
your deck is beautiful. I love that artwork back there behind you. Tell us about your creative process for this deck.
Well, basically, I try to focus on the basic design of the Rider-Waite-Smith's deck, and basically focus on trying to incorporate the symbolism into that. And, if something I think would work better, I kind of borrow from other decks as well.
Did you go through the deck sequentially, starting with the Fool and going on, or did you have a process of choosing which cards you're going to work on that?
I actually usually start off with the Magician card, and then kind of jump around randomly, kind of go in order. But if I feel like I want to do a different card, I do a different card at that time.
Very good. So what's your art medium that you're using for your deck?
A lot of it is it's done through Photoshop, but I do use some hand-drawn images scanned in, also do a little bit of watercolor texturing, but a lot of it's done in Photoshop.
Marvelous. Well, what would you say is the most challenging part of the process for you?
Setting up the Kickstarter. It's like when I'm creating the cards, it just feels magnificent. Just the feeling of I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and then I have to set up the Kickstarter or set up the website, and that's not as much fun. But it's part of the process. So
it's nice that we have that available now, so you don't have to invest in doing it all by yourself. You have supporters to move the project along, and it's been so exciting to see how that's progressing. How is that? Is it going well for you?
Yeah, it's doing the last project. Well, this unicorn deck is doing much better. It's about twice as much as the first deck I did on Kickstarter. So I'm happy with that.
That's wonderful. Well, you're gaining a little more visibility, and that always helps too. And unicorns, I know a lot of people love unicorns. So you mentioned you're working on a 3rd deck. Can you tell us anything about that deck?
Yeah, it's basically inspired by my grandmother. She loved cats and witches and ladybugs, and it's going to be a cat themed deck. So I've actually created the first card, finished the first card, but other than that, I'm still working on a lot of it. So,
Marvelous.
But it's coming along pretty well, faster than I expected.
Oh, wonderful! It sounds. I'm interested to see some cards one of these days. That'll be fabulous. Well, I know you want to get through probably with this Kickstarter first before you start creating anticipation for the next deck, but we can never have too many tarot decks, right?
I gotta get a collection. Everybody's got like 30 decks. I need to make 30 decks.
Right, there you go. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your unicorn deck, the Divine Tarot of the Unicorn, and how you came up with the name?
Well, my mother's name is Tanya Diana, and Diana being divine. Oh. So that kind of goes in with that. It's basically inspired by my mother. She passed away in 2020. She had COVID, and she'd had about Well, the first bout, she had about 7 strokes, and she was just not in good shape. And for about 2 years, she was just, it was just really bad shape. And so I decided to go ahead and make a deck to honor her and honor her memory. And seeing that she was the person who first introduced me to tarot, I felt it very fitting.
Oh, that is. And I'm so sorry for your loss, Matthew. That's
Thank you.
got to be very hard. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say about your deck, or tell us about your Kickstarter? Or we'll link it below for everybody who wants to get a copy of the deck.
Once everything gets settled with the Kickstarter and everything gets shipped off, I'm gonna make it available through makeplayingcards.com, and you'll be able to find the link at my website. It's breersartandthings.com.
Wonderful. We'll put a link to all of those down below then, so everybody can find those. Well,
I printed off some cards.
Yes.
Unless I put them in front of me.
Yeah.
In my head. So here's this is right here is my favorite card right here. If you can, it's the strength card. I don't know if you can be able to get that or not.
Yeah, I saw with the column and the unicorn knocking it over. Or...
Yeah. That's actually inspired by the Charles deck, Charles deck and the magenta deck. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The from the 1500s in French, and then the magenta deck is from the 1460s from Italy. So that's the deck. It has a column instead of I felt it was a little bit more appropriate, seeing that these are unicorns, and I thought it would be weird trying to put unicorn hose in a lion's mouth. I just couldn't figure out how to do that. So every time I did it, I actually drew it out with the unicorn putting it in the lion's mouth, and it didn't feel right. So I went ahead with this way. So
yeah, I like that. That's a really great way to do it.
Then I got the 2 of Cups.
There we go. Yeah, there we can see it right there. Oh, beautiful.
These are just print offs. I won't actually get the actual cards. Seeing that I'm in Cambodia at the moment, it takes about 3 months to get anything shipped.
I bet that's right.
I just finished it not too long ago. So it's going to be taken about. I'll actually probably be the people will actually get their cards in the United States before I will.
Oh, my goodness.
And a lot of the other countries will.
Wow.
Because I live in one of the few countries that gets most of the post through shipping.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have to go on a boat. So they have to wait for the boat to get filled up. And then so it takes like 2, sometimes 3 months for it to arrive. But
how long did this deck take you to create from beginning to end?
Well, let's see. I started it a little bit while I was finishing off my last one. So probably I'd say about 7 months.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of artwork in 7 months. That's very impressive.
Yeah, well, like I've said on other places, I'm retired here in Cambodia, and basically all I have time is to create art and spend time with my family.
That sounds fantastic. So,
speaking of which, I have a child on the way.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, that's marvelous. Well, your time will be taken up by something else pretty soon then.
Yeah, for a little bit. So I got to get these decks knocked out anyway.
Right. So, Matthew, when you read for yourself or for someone else, can you tell us a little bit about what your tarot reading process looks like?
Yeah, basically, I on occasion, if I feel like I need to, I sage. It's a little difficult finding sage around here in Cambodia, but I can. You can't find it; a little expensive, so I don't do it all the time. And then basically, I do Celtic Cross and single card spreads, daily card read, and sometimes the 3-card spread, past, present, future. So
wonderful. All right, so your favorite spreads to use are the Celtic Cross and the past, present, future. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you, Matthew. Anything else that you'd like to say before we sign off?
that I can think of. Just thank you for your time, and I really appreciate the group that we're in, and thank you for everything.
You bet. Thank you, Matthew, so much. It's been great speaking with you today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.